Well, welcome back for another anniversary video in the Anime Podcast Show. So today, it's March 17th, because it's the biggest block in the US history on American television. Back then, anime used to be called Japanimation. It started in March of 1997, and it's named Toonami. Yes, it's their 25th year on the block. Let's dive in, take a look at a full history about the network. It started in August of 1986. Ted Turner's Turner Broadcasting System acquired MGM like old cartoons such as Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and the other Hanna-Barbera franchises from the 1930s to the 1940s. And he knows what to do, but without any airing time schedules and without any television channels to broadcast on. But until 2 months later, around October in the same year, Turner was forced to sell MGM rights after 75 days, but he kept only the movies until the beginning of the 1990s. Turner made a deal to purchase the library of animation studio of Hanna-Barbera for $320 million. He wants to make a profit out of devise a network that would work, but, however, on February of 1992, 8 months before it launched, Turner Broadcasting announced their plans to call Cartoon Network. It will be an outlet for animation shows to broadcast, and that will be the future for the network. On October 1st, 1992, Cartoon Network had finally launched on the air. During that broadcast, they had aired previous cartoons from the 40s to the 60s. Since it launched, the block been airing for non-stop for 24 hours runtime. But at the same time, they had launched a first afternoon block called Super Adventures. They would broadcast acquired shows such as Fantastic Four, James Bond Jr., The Flintstones, The Jetsons, etc. Cartoon Network became as a whole for all ages. After that, they are ready to move forward is to produce their own shows like Dexter's Laboratory, The Powerpuff Girls, Codename Kids Next Door, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, etc. But hold on, where does anime comes in Cartoon Network? Well, let me tell you about it. In 1995, a late-night action block debuted on Cartoon Network named Power Zone, and it aired shows such as the first anime series to air on the network named Speed Racer. Then after that, they aired Fantastic Four, Super Friends, and among others. Then, for the next 14 months later, it ended their broadcast for Power Zone, because the whole network team, they know what they want to broadcast next. So for the next 6 months from that time, however, before Power Zone exists, something aired in midnight of January of 1995.
You asked for it, and now the Cartoon Network's going to give it to you. 6 hours of intense Japanese animation with Robot Carnival, Vampire Hunter D, and Twilight of the Cockroaches.
Nice move!
It's the Cartoon Network's Night of the Vampire Robots, Saturday night at midnight on the best place for cartoons.
A marathon is called Night of the Vampire Robots, and it showed 3 theatrical anime movies with heavily edited due to mature themes, sexual content, and a lot of violence. Containing these 3 movies named Robot Carnival, Vampire Hunter D, a classic film, and Twilight of the Cockroaches. They used to air it on Sci-Fi Channel years ago before Cartoon Network exists. They used to show it in selected theaters in the United States.
This broadcast is intended solely for the enjoyment of our audiences. Any rebroadcast, or retransmission without express written consent of Toonami and Cartoon Network is strictly prohibited.
On March 17th, 1997 at 4 p.m., Toonami is born. It made its world premiere replacing Power Zone. It will be Cartoon Network's future incarnation for the block and hosted by Motar from Space Coast to Coast. Motar has been around from the beginning of Toonami and ended his run on July 9th, 1999. At that time, it would broadcast two incredible shows that will be no longer called Japanimation anymore. It will be known as Anime, and the two shows are Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. Sailor Moon made it first appeared on Toonami Block on June 1st, 1998, but 2 months later, in August 31st in the same year, one of the greatest action show of all time, known as DBZ, or Dragon Ball Z. It will give the executives some boost to get more anime shows to put on the air, such as Outlaw Star, Gundam Wing, Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, The Big O, etc. Also, they would broadcast other programs, which is non-anime shows, such as The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, DC animated series, Transformers, Astro Boy, etc. It will brought impact to the viewers who were watching these shows when it was first aired in the first place on Cartoon Network, or you're currently watching it right now on Adult Swim to this day. After July 9th, 1999, the next day, we will see a brand new host on July 10th, 1999, and his name is Tom. Tom 1 made his appearance 5 minutes before the first midnight run. Tom 1 is a small robot with his feet, hands, and head connected his body by thin black joints. Tom hosts the show alone until Sarah and the Clyde 50s were introduced during the first total immersion event of The Intruder and aired in September 18th of 2000. After more than a year as a host of Toonami, the original Tom met his doom during The Intruder with an unknown red blob invaded the Absolution. He went to investigate it, and the blob is there, and they tried to destroy it, but it was ineffective. He tried to run, but Tom 1 is dead, but his consciousness and memories were transferred to a new body and reborn to Tom 2. The introduction of Tom 2 was introduced in The Intruder episode 5. Since then, he was around as a host until March of 2003. Tom 2 is a taller, leaner model with larger hands and feet than Tom 1. Before we head to Tom 3, Cartoon Network lost their afternoon slot because Toonami Block lost their 4 to 5 p.m. slot and moved it to Kids WB to premiere it on July 30th of 2001. This version was more or less the lineup with the name from weekdays. It's funny that it's a promotional between Cartoon Network and Kids WB, so they did allow for the series to be shared between the networks. They also aired with Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon on Kids WB, and Card Capture Sakura, or back then they called Card Captures, aired on Cartoon Network Toonami for 2 weeks only, for both Kids WB and Cartoon Network, and it featured the Absolution, Tom and Sarah, but they never spoke during the Kids WB run. They also aired such as Jackie Chan's Adventure, Pokemon, X-Men Evolution, and Yu-Gi-Oh! But in 2002, Toonami regained their 4 to 5 p.m. time slot from Kids WB. But the block did an online comic called Toonami Endgame, and something happened to Tom 2. Until March of 2003, Tom 3 was born. He is more muscular body, like the previous two incarnations of Tom. This one, he is blue and white color, including the Toonami logo in his chest. He will be around until March of 2007. When Tom 3 begins to host the block, It got a bit shorter, losing their 4 to 5 p.m. slot, showing 4 shows on the air. Then about a month later, in 2004, Cartoon Network is moving Toonami from weekday to Saturday evenings, airing it on 7 to 11 p.m. time slot. It was replaced by Miguzi as the next afternoon action block. Also, like to add is Cartoon Network used to have a block called Saturday Video Entertainment System, known as SVES. It was around for a year from 2003 to 2004, because some of their shows on their weekday lineup, it became too violent for a weekday broadcast on the network. Before I talk about the cancellation and the return of the block, I want to talk about this particular block that made Toonami's return in 2012. But I'm talking about Adult Swim. The block who bring Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Lupin the Third, Case Closed or Detective Conan, Full Metal Alchemist, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, and many more. The Adult Swim block has been launched on September 2nd of 2001, and their first anime broadcast during the launch was Cowboy Bebop. Since then, the block got so popular, not only for anime, they broadcast Rick and Morty, Robot Chicken, American Dad, Bob's Burgers, Futurama, Family Guy, and many more. On January of 2007, a teaser commercial on Cartoon Network, something is going to be happening on the day of the anniversary. Well, I would say the 10th anniversary of Toonami, but on the day of the 10th anniversary of the program, it would introduce Tom 4. People was like, what? What? What happened to Tom 3? And then Toonami started to slow down to the bottom a bit. From October of 2007, the show will go shorter from 4 to 2 hours, from 9 to 11 p.m. Then on September 20th of 2008, it was announced that Toonami has to be cancelled due to low ratings, and people who were there from the beginning, some of them grew up and they didn't watch it anymore. But let me play the final transmission from Tom 4.
Well, this is the end, beautiful friends. After more than 11 years, this is Toonami's final broadcast. It's been a lot of fun, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you who've made this journey with us. Toonami wouldn't have been anything without you. Hopefully, we've left you with some good memories. So, until we meet again, stay gold. Bang.
After that, Toonami is no more, from 2008 to 2012. But don't worry, Toonami made their return on April 1st as an April Fool's joke at midnight. But let me play the clip.
Oh, hi, Adult Swim. I got the results of the test back. I definitely have April Fools.
Transmission. Uploading video for broadcast. Alright, Tom, we're ready.
I love this job.
Tom 3 has returned, greeting the viewers while commenting on April Fool's Day, before Bleach started on the air. Then after that, they broadcast Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Outlaw Star, and classic shows that they used back in the day. But here's a fun fact about it. There were some shows that originally going to be on the air on Toonami during Cartoon Network and the Adult Swim eras. But let me tell you about them. Such as Trigun, due to gun violence for Cartoon Network. Durarara, they were originally going to air it on Adult Swim's Toonami, but they scrapped the idea on the air. Inuyasha. Inuyasha was originally going to be on Cartoon Network, but due to a lot of editing issues, because there's a lot of sexual content in the beginning of the show, and they have to cut them out. So they don't want to do that. So they're like, nah, let's move it somewhere else. And lastly, if you all know the show or don't know, that Lupin was going to make a comeback on Adult Swim. But the show was going to be broadcasting The Woman Called Fujiko Mine. Yes, that series. It was originally going to be on the 2012 to 2013 schedule, but due to a lot of sexual themes, so they refused to air it, and also the amount of the sexual content in it, and they had to do a lot of editing for it, and that's going to be losing a lot of money, so they decided to, instead of broadcasting it on the air for the first time, they released it on DVD instead. After the April Fool's broadcast, people wanted to see Toonami back on the air from April to May of 2012. They've been tweeting on Twitter, and then the executives, they were like, shut up, and they were like, okay, we can get your show back. And in their hashtags like, hashtag bring Toonami back. Then by May 16th of 2012, Adult Swim made their announcement saying, Toonami's back, bitches, and would make its return on May 26th of 2012. On May 26, 2012, it made Toonami Reborn, giving old shows that they used to air on Adult Swim, giving new shows on the block, showing old shows they used to air on Cartoon Network, but as remastered, like Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, also showing mature content that they couldn't do back in the day in the Cartoon Network days, and airing it from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then in April of 2013, Tom 5 has been born, and the block has a new look made their premiere along with the surprise return of Sarah. Since then, the Toonami block has kept it going and premiered a lot of incredible shows such as Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online, Hunter x Hunter, JoJo Bizarre Adventure, and etc. Their schedule sometimes air between 10:30 to 6 a.m. Sometimes to change a lot during the lineup. Around of 2013 to right now to the present day, we see a lot of events happens during the block. Also, we lost Tom 5, now to Tom 6, then COVID hit. But the block is going strong. But in the beginning, some dubbing productions has stopped during COVID, but they began dubbing all these incredible shows at home, and that's a good thing for the Toonami block. Like, they aired Sword Art Online Alicization, JoJo Bizarre Adventure, and the list goes here from there. But we are about to wrap up the 25th anniversary video of Toonami. Thank you for who's watching this and listening to this. And like I said, thanks for watching and listening to the podcast episode. Hit that notification bell, and got a lot of things to talk about in the future. And also, I would like to make about this, but I gotta make a huge announcement anytime soon when I'm ready to announce it. Stay tuned for that. Stay safe out there, and peace.